I think people really truly underestimate how dangerous suicidal ideation is. In fact, let me give you a definition real quick. Suicidal ideation is defined as the thoughts, fantasies, or contemplations about ending one's own life. And the reason I say people underestimate how dangerous this is because in today's world, things like this are often treated like a joke, which is honestly crazy, but that's probably a conversation for another day. Anyways, I understand suicidal ideation, the thoughts, the feelings, because I've experienced it myself. And it actually started for me a very, very long time ago, during the high school days. And today, I'm going to tell you that story of my first experience with suicidal ideation. I hope you enjoy this. It takes a lot to just come on here and just give random information, even though I may not go into detail with every story. I've only told one story so far about my life. It's still something. I'm still leaving something out there for anyone to come across and consume. But anyways, with that being said, my name is Mr. Anonymous, and I hope you all enjoy this video. All right. Okay. So, this is where it began. So, we take a flashback to when I was 16 years old. Well, yeah, I was yeah, 16, 17, right in between those. It all started with somebody I had associated with on the internet and not realizing how badly it was ruining my mental health, like associating with this person that shall not be named. It it led me down a path of thoughts I have never experienced before in my life, and it wasn't intense. Like, it took some years before those thoughts got even worse, but it wasn't due to that person, because it in fact, let me say this: the thoughts didn't just spawn in from just that one interaction with this particular person, but they are a big contributor to the issue. That, and I hated school with a burning passion in my soul. I have never hated walking into a building so much in my life. But school, that person, other random people, all of that contributed, even at home, just contributed. And it broke me after a while, but that's where it started. 16 ish to 17, and it got gradually worse. But anyways, since I'm already telling you, I already told you the beginning of how, or where it started. Obviously limited details. I can't give you too much because this is all personal, but I'll give you enough. I guess I'll start to tell you the second wave, and it definitely was going on during high school still, obviously, like I said, from 16 to 17, but those weren't the bad years. Those weren't the bad years. But I will say that I can give you the reasons, actually, I got more added reasons on why the suicidal ideation started. I already told you I hated school, someone I was associated with, other people in school, and then at home. That, and then there's another one. I had lack of sleep. I would go to school with 3 hours of sleep. I don't know what was going on. Well, I do know what was going on. I hated it. I hated it. But all of those things contributed, right? Because it's never just one thing. When this starts, it's never just one thing. I mean, for someone it might be, but for me, it was several different things. It's like these were the conditions for a storm. They were met. They were met, and the storm came on through. The storm came on through after 16 and 17. We reached the year 2020. For those of you who don't know, I'm 23, by the way. But we reached the year 2020, and that's where the the suicidal ideation, right, and these thoughts, they were amplified because of everything that was going on, times 10. Like, I'm talking about to the point where I gotta think about what I'm gonna say here because YouTube. It got real. We're gonna just let's just keep it at that. It just got real. You know what that means. It got real. You know, plotting and planning. All right. I gave you a little bit extra so you can get the clue. Plotting and planning. But yeah, that is the peak. That was the peak of the suicidal ideation. Those 3 years. All right, leading up to that into the 20, and then it really no, the 2020s really did break me. Specifically 2020 and 2021. Those really did, like, there was so much that happened for me personally, not even just in the world, that just kept stacking on top of my already deteriorating mind. It was ridiculous. But yeah, that's how it was for me. But yeah, no, that's where it started, and I would love to say that's where it ended. It didn't end, you know, during the year 2020 when I turned 18. It just didn't end in that year. All right. I know I would love to say, yeah, it's all gone. I'm like, that's just not the truth. All right. I may be a lot better now. Obviously, it's been some years. It's been about 5 years. It's about to be 5 years. All right, because we're in 2026 now. It's about to be 5 years, but them thoughts, they didn't completely fade away. You really just get better at managing those thoughts. Some days they're weaker, some days they're not there, and some days they are like something hits you and it just amplifies it. It's like a problem happens, and and then that problem is just an amplifier for those bad thoughts. Um but yeah, no, I I still get those. But but yeah, I guess this is you know how it is. This is the part, right? Where I give you some type of advice on how to deal with something like this after hearing my story and seeing that I'm clearly still here to this day. Well, I am someone with a limited amount of answers. All I know is that for me personally, I just had to keep being persistent, and move forward and find reasons to just like want to live, I guess. Like I needed purpose. Purpose is the biggest thing for me. I say it a lot in my videos, or I said it a decent amount. But purpose, without purpose, you'll feel lost, cuz you can once you get those types of thoughts from one thing, it'll like, how do I say this? It poisons every part of you. Like, it takes away everything. You might get those type of thoughts from like a relationship, or you getting fired from your job. Next thing you know, it never went away. And combine that with depression, it'll cook you, bro. It'll cook you. So I guess to save myself from rambling, I would say, I guess for the first and very obvious answer, you got to get a therapist. You know, that's just like the default first thing to try. If you can do that, then get a therapist. But overall, you're going to have to start from the bottom up again, because assuming that you still get, because when you get those thoughts, obviously you're trying to take yourself off the map. You know what I mean? So you need to find reasons to stay afloat. It can be anything. My reasoning is I like to help people in any way I can. I don't have stuff to say all the time, because I'm young. Like I don't got it all, but I have something. That's my reasoning. But you got to find your reasoning, your purpose. But yeah, once you find that purpose, you need to hold on to it for dear life. Okay? Even when them thoughts come, though, you just got to remember, I'm doing this. This is what I like to do, and I have a reasoning for it. You know what I mean? I hope all this makes sense. Honestly, once this series is over, I'm gonna make way longer videos so I can talk a lot more, so it doesn't sound like I'm just abruptly ending. Okay, but yeah, I'll see y'all later. Okay, goodbye.